All right, so this is going to be, like I said, a long video, unfortunately, but I took the release test, which the state put online, and all the Calculator Inactive questions on there we're going to go over. All right, a lot of these are questions we've seen before in class. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So some of them might look familiar. But what we're doing with them is just making sure, these are actual old EOG questions. So this should show pretty close to what you're going to see on the EOG. For your EOG, as I've said before, there are 53 problems. 45 of them count for your score. The state's test that they put online for us is 45 questions. So somewhere there's those 8 extra questions that don't count. So today we're doing 15 problems for the Calculator Inactive. When you take your EOG next week, I would guess you have something more like 17, 18, 19 on the inactive. I don't know the exact number or how they split up the ones that don't count. Okay, so. And again, no calculators for this stuff. All right, go ahead, find the value of that. Oliver? 24 is correct. All right, so what we got here, we got to do in the parentheses first. And in the parentheses, order of operations begins again each time. So it's exponent. What's 5 squared?
25.
25. We got minus 10. So 25 minus 10? 15. We got divided by 5, and then we got our times 2 to the third power. What's 2 to the third power? 8. And then multiplication and division get done at the same time, working our way from left to right. So 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 8. That's how we get 24. Any questions? Next one, Paul had a job during his summer vacation. He earned $8.75 per hour. He worked 20 hours per week for 8 weeks. How much money did Paul earn? Ella, what you got? Nope. Brittany? $1,400's correct. All right, so look. All this is multiplying. We got $8.75 per hour, 20 hours per week, 8 weeks. So you could do it in any order as long as you're multiplying these three numbers. I'm just going to do 875 times 8 to start with. Decimal, we got two digits, so I got $69 even. Well, I don't need those zeros anymore, so that eliminated my decimals. So now when I multiply by 20, placeholder, where did I mess up? Oh, that should have been 6. Sorry, that should have been 70. That's where I messed up. My fault. So then when you add it up there, you get 1,400. Sorry, I misadded for a second. That's the mistakes you can make on this. So not a tough problem, but obviously one where you can make a mistake and you would possibly get it wrong. Any questions on that? Ella? A is correct on this one. So what we're going to do is distribute the answer choices. That's typically the easiest way. You take the number in front, you got to multiply it through into both parts. When you do that for A, you get 25x and a minus 10y. Sometimes you get problems that look like this, where they're like very wordy. Jim and Ed are debating the answer to the equation 2/3 m equals 1/4. Jim states that m is equal to 2 2/3. Ed states that m is equal to 3/8. Which statement is true? So basically you have to decide who's correct and then what type of math. Yeah, sorry, this one had to get a little tinier to fit. Nelly? Nope. Not C. Evan? No. D is correct. All right, to solve an equation, you do the opposite, right? Right here, that's multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. You're doing 1/4 divided by 2/3. So divided 1/4 by 2/3, divided 1/4 by 2/3. A has the wrong order. C has multiplication. Okay? You solve by doing opposite. So if you actually do the division, 1/4 divided by 2/3, we keep change flip. And we get the 3/8 that, what was his name? Ed said. Okay? Jamal, cutting some wood. Ten is correct. Basically, if you see fractions in a word problem, you're dividing, okay? So we got 2.5 divided by 1/4. We make it an improper fraction. And then we do keep change flip. So 5/2 times 4/1. That gives us 20/2. 20 divided by 2 is 10. Okay? Oh, also, I forgot to point out, so far, all of these have been, or would have been, multiple choice questions also. All right, so in some of these cases, it makes it even a little easier. I just didn't feel like copying and pasting the answers as well. Should be able to do it without the answers on some of these. Some of these you have to have choices. Like this one, Tanya pays $300 each month to rent an office where she earns $25 per hour to students. Which equation represents Tanya's profit? Y for working X hours. The key word here is profit. Adrian? D is correct. Hey, who knows, who can tell me how do we find profit? Yeah, money made minus money spent. So right there, it's money made minus money spent. It has to have subtraction. All right, profit's going to be a subtraction problem. Then the other thing we have is the $25 per hour. That means the 25 is getting multiplied by something. So that's how we get D. Any questions on that? No? All right, this one is probably too tiny for you to see from your seats, so I'll just go ahead and do this one, okay? We have the teams already listed in order. We have to tell which box and whisker plot goes with it. So if we count the teams, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 teams. That means if I split it in half, I have 7 on each half. That's putting my median right there in the middle. It's between 150 and 150. What's that make the median? 150. D does not have a median of 150. D is out. Now, we just find the median of each half. When we do the median of each half, there was 7 on each half, so how many should be on each side? 3 on each side with 1 in the middle. So you can see those lines there, they're dividing this up into equal sections. I got 3, 3, 3, and 3 in each of those 4 sections. That's what we want. We want 142 for the lower median. It's going to be hard to tell exactly, but those look like they could be pretty close. C does not. C is out. We do the same thing for the upper median or the upper quartile. Looking for 175, so that puts B out. And we're left with A. Not so bad, right? If you have a problem like this, the worst case would be you have to start off and put it in order first yourself. That shouldn't be that hard to do though, right? Just make sure you don't miss a number when you do that. All right, let's do a reflection. Now, I know a lot of these problems we've seen before, but EOG not seeming so bad so far, right? Three, 5 is correct. When we have a reflection, whatever axis we reflect over, in this case y, that letter stays the same. The other letter changes signs. So since it's a reflection over the y-axis, y stays the same, x changes signs. Okay? So that's how we get to 3, 5. Any questions on that? Odds are very good. You're going to see something like this, where it's either comparing decimals with inequalities, comparing fractions with inequalities, or it could be like comparing numbers with like absolute values with inequalities. Okay? Just making sure you know how it works. C is the correct answer. So what we're looking for is place values as we move from left to right. So if I go on A, they both start off with 0. Next one, 0. Next digit, we got 4. Our little inequality sign shouldn't be going that way, it should be going the other way. So A is out. For B, 8, 8, 2, 0. So again, should be going the other way. So that makes B out. For C, we got 7 and 7. We got 6 and 6. What's the next digit on this one? 6. That line means it's repeating, right? So we have an infinite amount of 6s if we need them. So when we go to that next digit, we got 6 and 7. Our inequality sign should be open to that 7. That makes that one correct. So we don't even have to look at D, but if we did, we got 0, 0, 0, 0, 3, 0. So Like I said, that should be the other way. Inequality, we got Andy running the same number of miles every week. His total distance run each week is less than 60 miles, which inequality represents how many miles Andy runs each week. Adrian? D is correct. This is one of those, like, it should be pretty easy. All you have to do is look for what inequality you use. This one says less than 60, so we need the inequality that is less than 60. Okay? In some cases, it might not be as obvious. It could say at most or at least, right? But same idea. All right, the rest of these are types of problems where you would have to type in the answer. Every one up until now would have been multiple choice on the EOG. One 1/25 is correct. All right, so 0 goes in for R. So we'd have 5 times 0 plus 1/5 squared. 5 times 0 is just 0. 0 plus 1/5 is 1/5. So what we've got is 1/5 squared. That means you multiply 1/5 times itself. And when you multiply, straight across numerator, straight across denominator, so 1 times 1, and 5 times 5. That's it. If you happen to have had the answer as a decimal, they would count that as correct. But with them giving you a fraction and you not having a calculator, you'd probably get it with a fraction. During a weekend, the manager of a mall gave away gift cards to every 80th person who visited the mall. On Saturday, 1,210 people visited the mall. On Sunday, 1,814 people visited the mall. How many people received a gift card? Listing your factors sometimes can help. 37 is correct. All right, so we're dividing and we're adding, okay? You got to do both in this problem. If you divide first, you got to divide twice. So you could do the 1,210 divided by 80 and the 1,814 divided by 80, and then add your two answers together. So that's one way you could do it. I'm going to do it the other way because then I only have to divide once. So if I add these two numbers up, we get 3,024. So you do your 3,024 divided by 80. 80 doesn't go into 3, doesn't go into 30. 80 goes into 302 3 times. 3 times 80 is 240. So when we subtract, we get 62. We bring down the 4, 624. So that's right there. We got 7. 560. We're going to have a remainder, or we could have kept going and had a decimal, but they're not giving away part of a gift card. The whole number is what matters, and if place is giving something away, they're not going to just round up either. Okay, so we're just looking for that whole number. 37 is the answer. Any questions on that? Jenny buying some gas. Gas is $3.45 per gallon. Jenny bought 12.2 gallons. What's the total cost of her gas? That part I highlighted, your answer is dollars and cents, right? It's money. What they do when they tell you that, that's telling you you're not going to have more than 2 decimals on your answer. All right, so you got to make sure you put the decimal in the correct spot. You might have to cut off some digits. You might have to add a 0, depending on where it's at. Levi. $42.09 is correct. All we're doing in this case, like I said before, is multiplying. So we got 345 times our 12.2. I point out every time with this, you don't have to line up the decimals for multiplication. Only time you need to line up the decimals is addition or subtraction. So and when you go, remember each time you go another digit, you got to add an extra place value to it. So when you finally get to your answer here, we had 1, 2, 3 digits. So 1, 2, 3 digits after our decimal. And since it's money, we cut off that last 0. Okay? Any questions on that? The value of 1,608 divided by 10 to the third power. And this is another thing you have a pretty good chance of seeing something similar to, making you do some sort of math with an exponent on a 10. Could be multiplying, it could be dividing, but good shot of seeing it again. Shane? 1.608 is correct. So I saw a decent amount of y'all working it out. What's 10 to the third power? 1,000. So if you're working it out by actually writing out the division like this, doesn't go into anything, goes into 1,000 one, or the 1608 one time. So we got 608. We put a decimal, add a 0. Decimal goes up, 0 goes down. Goes into 6,080, 6 times. When we bring down this 0, we only got 800. How many times does 1,000 go into 800? 0. We still need a number for that placeholder, okay? Then we bring down the next 0, and we got 8,000, and that's how we get that 8. So I saw a few of y'all leaving out that 0 between the 6 and the 8, okay? Another way you can do this, when you are dividing by tens, or numbers that are ones followed by zeros, you can move the decimal by the number of zeros. So when you divide, decimal gets moved 3 spots. Okay? If we were multiplying by 1,000, decimal would go 3 spots the other way. So if you're multiplying, you're adding digits to it. If you're dividing, you're kind of taking away, making it smaller. Steve's got some flowers, or not flowers, flour. He's making a recipe. How many times can he complete it? $20 is correct. All right, so again, a word problem with fractions, we're dividing. So we got 2.5 divided by 1/8. 2.5 becomes 5 over 2. We do keep, change, flip. We get 40 over 2. 40 divided by 2, 20. Any questions?